Hi, everyone. Welcome to Shot Callers, a Storied Rivals podcast where we sit down with high school football coaches in the leagues that we cover. And today we're in the Licking County League with the Utica Redskins, and we're with head coach Charlie Rowley, who's joining the show. Coach Rowley, really appreciate you being here on Shot Callers today. How are you? How's your summer going?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on here and represent our team and program. Summer's going well. We are obviously into two-a-days now, so full go and excited for the season.
Well, actually, before we dive into the season, I kind of want to dive into your backstory a little bit because you played your college ball at Otterbein, and then you came back to Utica to be on the coaching staff for a few years. Then you were at Big Walnut for 6 years. You were defensive coordinator for a couple years there as well. And then when you came back to Utica, I read somewhere that when you came back, it was your dream to become the head coach of the Redskins, a team that you played for back in the day. Why was that a dream come true for you? Was that something that you like? Was that a goal for you once you graduated, went to college and all that? Did you want to become a head football coach? Was that kind of how you always saw your path playing out?
Yeah. Graduating from high school, I honestly wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I know it was something in sports athletically. Quickly found out that I thought coaching was my calling. I'm very proud of where I'm from, our school, our community. So the chance to just come back home, that meant so much to me. To lead this program, I'm very thankful for it, and it's just a pleasure to be able to be the head coach and be home in a program that I certainly love.
So you're a defensive coach, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on like coaching the defensive side of the ball because the game has changed so much, I guess, over the last probably I would say definitely in the last 5 years or so, but probably over the last 10 to 15 years where it's been a major shift towards the offensive side of the ball. We've seen a lot of rule changes that favor offense. The middle of the field is wide open, and we see these rule changes that like the NFL and the college level kind of trickle down to high school. We've seen that over the years, but how difficult is it to coach the defensive side of the ball nowadays? I mean, what do you do to kind of get your guys ready for a season, knowing that rules change so much year to year that favor offense?
Yeah, certainly the game's changing, like you said, and I've got experience doing both sides. I was prior to being head coach, I was defensive coordinator for 2 seasons. Since being back here at Utica, I'm actually more on the offensive side, but still heavily involved defensively. But yeah, bottom line, I mean, we still believe it in traditional fundamentals defensively. I mean, we believe in being physical. In high school football, you still got to stop the run. That's where it all starts. So, we preach to our guys that we got to find 11 dudes who are going to be physical, who are going to run to the football, and just play relentlessly with great effort. So that's kind of our foundation. Certainly teams are looking to spread you out a little bit, RPO, that kind of stuff. We do the same thing offensively. So it does make it tougher. Big thing, I think, today's game is you gotta really prevent big plays. Make teams drive the field, put together 8-10 play drives. You can't give up the home run plays. That's the biggest thing.
So you mentioned that since you've been at Utica, you're now more on the offensive side of the ball. What does your offensive philosophy kind of look like? Are you more of a spread guy, or do you do a lot of things under center? Kind of what's your offense, I guess, kind of look like on paper, and what do you kind of? I mean, obviously, without giving away your entire playbook on the show for teams that you play this year, but like, what do you like to do offensively? I know for a lot of teams it's establishing the run, but if you do have great skill guys on the outside, throwing the ball might be more advantageous than running the football at times. So what is your balance, I guess, as far as your offensive philosophy, and where do you line guys up?
Yeah, we consider ourselves to be a multiple style offense. We are heavily in the gun. We are what many people would call a gun T team offensively, wing T out of the shotgun. So we do have spread capability. We can easily get into 3 and 4 wide, but it does start with run the football with us. We're a tight end 2-back team where we're going to establish the run. So as far as balance goes, like you mentioned, I do think we have some guys who can make plays. So we do want to zip it out there to them. Get the ball in our playmakers' hands, use space like all the spread teams are doing. We want to use sideline to sideline, make teams defend the whole field. Um, my college coach used to say in regard to balance, which I believe in, you don't necessarily need to be 50-50 run pass to be balanced, but you need to have the threat of being balanced.
Right.
So that's kind of our philosophy is, we may be 65-35 run to pass, but I think that we have the threat of being a balanced approach offense at all times, and that's really what we want to be. But it does certainly start with the running game for us, and then hopefully open up some space for our playmakers on the edge.
So I guess kind of a similar question, defensive side of the ball too, because you were defensive coordinator for 2 years at Big Walnut. So what does it look like defensively for you as well with your scheme and your balance? Do you like to bring a lot of blitz pressure, or is it mostly just kind of just drop back into coverage and just be sound either man to man, or is it a zone defense for you? Like what's your balance defensively like as far as stop? Because you mentioned stopping the run as a big focal point for you, but then also getting to the quarterback, but also preventing those big plays like you mentioned up top.
Yeah, we're a couple years now. We've been a 3-3 defensive front team. On the back end, again, we're kind of multiple in our coverage. We do a little bit of man, but not a whole lot. We're a zone-based team, but in those zones, we can show a variety of looks. With our two high safety approach. We mix it up. We with a 3 front, we do certainly bring pressure. Look to bring 4 guys often. We bring 5-man pressures. And you see a lot of the upper level teams, NFL and college teams. A lot of times they're only bringing 3. So we'll do that too. We'll drop 8 in coverage. With different offenses, we believe in different looks. We got to be sound. We're going to make sure we're sound in what we do. We're a gap-based defense. But we can bring some variety in drop coveraging and bring a little bit of pressure.
So I want to dive into this year for your squad. Then last year you were 3-7 in the Licking County League. So what does your team look like this year as far as guys that you have coming back, whether it's in your skill positions on offense, your quarterback room, the guys up front? Because to win in football, you need to have a strong play up front on your offensive and defensive lines. What do those position groups look like for you? And then also all over your defense as well, in the middle, on the outside, in the secondary. What does your team look like this year? And who are some names that we should be looking out for as far as Utica goes for 2023?
Yeah, we got a lot of experience coming back. We're excited about this upcoming year. Some guys who are now juniors and seniors have played a lot of varsity football the last 2, even 3 years. So we feel good that we have some competition on our team for spots. Still some spots open, but that's healthy for our team. You mentioned up front. That's where it starts at any level. We've learned that you got to be solid up front. That's where it starts for us. O-line wise, we have all starters back from last year up there. Those guys are getting better, continuing to improve. We think we have good leadership up there. So I'm excited for those guys to really set the tone for our offense. Gavin Chin is a name guys have heard. He's a second-team All-State receiver coming back. Justin Giffen, Tyler Clure in the backfield. Those guys have played a lot of football. They're going to have the ball in their hands quite a bit. Hayden Piper at quarterback. He started a few games there for us last year when we had Zach Heckman out with an injury. Really excited about him. He's a great kid, quarterback. Gavin Tussey's back with us, competing with him at that spot. So offensively, yeah, we're excited. We think we got some playmakers, and like we said up front, starts with those guys where we got to establish the run, and we got some experience up front. Same thing defensively, a lot of guys back. D-line, we're looking at guys like Dylan Cooprider coming back off an injury. Caden Baker's played a lot of football. Chris Young. Tyler Clure will be a senior. He'll be a 4-year starter at linebacker. We got a couple linebacker spots to fill that are a big part of our competition in camp right now. DB Wise, Logan Fisher, Justin Giffen, Chase Bennett, all Gavin Tussey, all guys who have played varsity football for us. on the back end. So we think we have some depth that we can kind of adjust and move around with, but definitely some competition for some spots still. And our upcoming scrimmages are going to be very important for us to evaluate some of our kids.
The big thing that I pulled from that is that you have all five guys returning on your offensive line. Like, how important is it to have that continuity for your offense? Because I'm sure it just sets the tone for an entire game and an entire season when you have five guys that have played together now coming back for another full season together.
Yeah, I think it's probably any level of football, but I really think high school football, you win up front, O line and D line. Those guys make all the difference, and like you mentioned, just the continuity, the brotherhood of those guys up there. Can't emphasize enough how important our scheme is based on what we do up front. We got to run the football. So for us to be successful, those are the guys we're going to rely on. They know how we as coaching staff feel about them and their importance. So we're excited about them. They've been working hard. I believe just because you're a year older doesn't necessarily mean you're better, but those guys up front have put in time in the weight room. They're committed. We think they are definitely better. No room to be satisfied or happy with where we're at yet. We're going to continue to work and grind each and every day, but our offensive success will start with those guys up front.
My last question for you, I gotta know who designed your helmets because those helmets are pretty sick, man. I love the feathery look on the front of the helmet. Like, who came up with that? Who made those? Because those are pretty sick.
Yeah, we're excited about those. Love those. After my first year, my brother-in-law was on staff with us. Derek Posey, he ran the defense for me the first couple of years. He brought it to me. I mean, it was really just probably a few weeks before this time in July. He's like, "What do you think about this?" So took it to the administration. They said, "Go for it," and we think they're pretty sweet. So take a lot of pride in who we are and how we carry ourselves on the field also. So.
Yeah, Utica Redskin football. That's pretty awesome. I love those helmets for sure. But Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time to stop by and talk some football with us on Shot Callers today. Really appreciate it. Best of luck this year. You guys got a lot of guys. You got a lot of guys coming back, and I'm really excited to see you guys challenge those other big time schools in the LCL this year.
Thank you, Will. Thanks for having me. Just appreciate you representing our program, and we're certainly looking forward to the season.